welcome to Mama Mandala, where magic is somatic. I'm Hagar. Thank you so much for joining me. Before we jump into down dog, let's consider for just a moment the presence of the dog. You know, our best friend, a human's best friend, who was a woman's best friend before it was a man's best friend. Dogs in the ancient world accompanied goddesses all throughout many different cultures. It was the familiar of witches across cultures and traditions. It is the company of Hecate, the goddess of the Crossroads, because the dog is the watcher of the threshold, right? It's the presence that barks at the door when there's someone there. Mythologically, it is the symbol of the underworld gatekeeper. If you think of Greek mythology, where Hecate comes from, she actually comes from a pre-Hellenistic tradition, but that's for a different time. You can actually check out an article, an essay I wrote about Hecate, and there's a little bit about her tradition and her origins in there. And I'll leave a link for you in the description of this video. And then there's another article that I wrote about her symbols, and the dog appears there. So you can check that out too. I'll leave a link for both of those in the description of the video. But the dog, they really do mirror each other, don't they? The dog has been the keeper, the gatekeeper of the underworld. Think of Cerberus, who watched the doorway, the gateway to the underworld in Greek mythology. Even in ancient Egypt, if you think of the star Sirius, the dog star Sirius, he was, and I say he because it was a symbol when the star rose in the dawn, in the pre-morning skies. It was a resurrection. It was considered a return. It was around the time when the Nile was flooded, and the flooding of the Nile was considered the tears of Isis, and she cries over her beloved Osiris, who is the god of resurrection, of death and rebirth, of the underworld, and finding the way back into renewal. So the dog star Sirius was a symbol of Osiris, because it rose back up in the sky from the regenerative tears of Isis. And the dog in pre-Hindu world, if you take yourself all the way back to Vedic culture, was not only accompanying Rudra, who was the wild, fierce, ferocious god of the storm and of the intensity of the universe, but it was him and himself. It was Rudra turned himself into a rowdy, you see the etymology there, into a rowdy, wild, untamed, blood-dripping jaws kind of a dog on the outskirts of town at the cremation grounds with a bone in his mouth, right? And Rudra later on becomes, in the Hindu tradition, Shiva. So we have here a character who represents in us, in our lives, in the world, thresholds, death and rebirth, the gateway energy that, almost like Ganesha from the Hindu tradition, is an invitation to ask what is coming and what is going. So let's do this. Down dog, bitches. Let's go. Hands on the ground. Spread your fingers. Ground your hands. Stretch your hips up towards the sky and root your heels toward the earth. Slow breath in. Slow breath out. And if down dog is not something that is good for you to practice these days, you can have your hands on a wall. Just stretch your hands at the wall, or even put your hands on a couch or on a chair or on a table, so that you get a similar effect in your body without weight bearing on your hands. Bring your knees down to the floor with an exhalation. Inhale, reach your hips back and your chest forward. Root and press your hands into the earth. And exhale, round your back. And let your spine play around a little bit when cat and cow. Inhale, hips back, chest forward. To feel the contrast. Because as we meet energies like the dog, exhale, round your back. Energies, archetypes like Hecate. We meet the places, inhale, hips back, chest forward, where energy is conjunct, right? Where they commingle, exhale, round your back. Or where there's a decision to move from here to there, inhale, bring your spine to the space between, where you feel the energy of cat and of cow commingle in your spine, in your torso. And exhale, reach up and back into downward facing dog, Adho Mukha Svanasana. Keep your hands rooted into the earth. Bend your right knee and stretch your left heel towards the ground as your hands, the inner edges and the tips of the fingers, ground deeply. And then switch slowly. Left knee bends, right heel reaches towards the ground. Bend both of your knees, reach your hips up high. And with an exhalation, bring your knees down to the floor again. And now, as you inhale and reach your hips back and your chest forward, try to engage the abdominal region like you do when you do cat. And then exhale. As you round your back and look towards your navel and engage your abdominal region, try to keep a little bit of the energy of the arch of your back like you do in cow. Inhale. Same thing. Hips back and chest forward, but keep an engagement in your glutes and in your core, even though you're arching your back. And exhale, round your back, but keep your hips moving back and your chest forward energetically, even though you're rounding. Does that make sense? So you add one into another. Inhale, hips back, chest forward. So we're at this crossroads, at this threshold, one more time. Look towards your navel and round your back of commingling energies, which is exactly what happens at the threshold. Inhale into the space between and ground and root your hands into the floor like you mean it. Exhale, reach up and back. Adho Mukha Svanasana, downward facing dog. Slow breath. Make sure you tone the back of the throat and engage deeply in Ujjayi breath. Inhale, lift your right leg up, spread your toes so the right leg is strong. Exhale, step your right foot to the outside of your right hand and bring your left knee down to the floor. Energetically, without moving your legs, pull them towards one another. So your right heel draws towards your left knee towards your right heel, your right leg towards the inside, towards the middle of your body, and your left leg towards the middle of your body. And then with that engagement, with that connection, with that conjunction of energies, also stretch and lengthen. Because the crossroads doesn't stop us from moving forward. It invites us into a pause, the threshold of the dog, the gateway of the underworld. It's a pause. It's not the end, right? Death is not the end. There's this unfolding that keeps on happening. It doesn't matter what your belief is, even if it's just a breaking down of the body. Exhale to downward facing dog, even if it's just the breaking down of the materials that made your body alive. Inhale the left leg up, and then the body turns to soil with the help of exhale the foot to the outside of your left hand, right knee down to the floor with the help of worms and bacteria and fungi, right? There's things that eat the body and continue to turn it into something else. Slow breath. So the continuation does not have to be something that you believe in, some afterlife that you believe in. It can if that's your thing, but it doesn't have to be that. The energy of continuation. Slowly breathe and pull your legs towards each other, side to side, back to front, front to back, and lengthen at the same time. There is that lengthening, that continuation, that extension, that continuous unfoldment. Exhale to downward facing dog. So when you go to dog, when you go to the gatekeeper, When you arrive at a place in your life where, okay, well, this is something has gone to the underworld. Be with the dog present. Slow breath. Bring your knees with an exhalation down to the floor so that you can inhale, hips back, chest forward. And exhale, bring your hips down and your chest forward and up. Point your feet, lift your chest, ground your toenails, and broaden through your collarbones into cobra pose. Another threshold symbol, right? Another symbol that allows us, and you see that I'm moving my body a little side to side. I know there was a sentence back there that I didn't finish. The serpent, as you move your body side to side, it's that invitation, like the dog, similar to the dog, not the same, but similar, to cross between things, to move between this side and that side, to be the one who's at the threshold, like and with the goddess Hecate. Exhale to downward facing dog. The serpents are also her symbols, like they are the symbols of so many ancient goddesses. Slow breath in, ground your hands. Exhale, walk your hands back towards your feet into Uttanasana. Forward bend, you can bend your knees if you need to, or you can keep the legs straight or somewhere between bent and straight. Inhale and look forward, halfway up. Exhale, fold back in and find the place, the space between inhale and exhale, between exhale and inhale. There is, again, that commingling between outside and inside. Inhale, look forward, halfway up. Between the world and you. Exhale, fold back in. Between nourishment and release. Inhale, look forward. Between receiving and letting some things go. And so when you embody the energy, the archetype, the qualities of the dog, inhale, look forward, you can be the guardian. Exhale, walk your hands forward. Bring yourself back to downward facing dog and notice what things are trying to re-emerge from the underworld. What do you want to invite back into another cycle, and what are you being Cerberus to? A three-headed dog. Inhale the right leg up to be a three-legged dog. Bend the knee and open up your hip as you press your hands down. And guard the gate. Because all of our stuff, seriously, all of our stuff is going to try to come back. Reach your leg back. Inhale. That's the nature of things. Life is cyclical. Exhale, step the foot forward in between your hands and bring your left knee down to the floor. Inhale and reach your arms up into Anjaneyasana. Press both of your feet into the earth and bend deep into your front knee. Bring now a little bit of cat into your torso. So draw the front of your hip bones, the ASISs towards each other, draw the sides of the ribs towards each other so there's strength and engagement in your abdominal region. That's the cat, right? But then make a cow happen as well as you lift your chest up to the sky, as you reach your hips back down to the earth, arms up high. Deep breath in. Exhale, bring your hands down to the floor, plant the hands and step back, Adho Mukha Svanasana, downward facing dog. Inhale to plank and press your hands down. And with an exhale, bring your hips down to the floor, draw the heads of your arm bones back as you point your feet and press your toenails down so you're in cobra. Again, embodying the serpent, the ability to move in multiple directions, down into the subterranean, up, climbing on a tree, wrapping around a branch. And then see if this is okay for you. As you press your hands down and you maintain the heads of the arm bones in their sockets, see if you can keep your toenails down and lift your thighs off the floor. So you're an upward facing dog. Deep breath in. Tuck your toes and reach up and back, downward facing dog, Adho Mukha Svanasana. Moving yourself deeper and deeper into a conversation with the cyclical nature of reality, of life, through the breath, through the seasons of your life. Inhale the left leg up. Three-legged dog, bend the knee and open up the hip. Spread your toes so the leg is strong when it's up there in the air. Reach your leg back. Inhale. Exhale, bring your foot forward in between your hands, right knee down to the earth, Anjaneyasana, arms up to the sky, deep breath, fingertips to the sky, feet down into the earth. As you bend deep into your front knee, can you feel how your spine wants to do more of a cow, but almost in a collapsed way? That's the tendency, at least for some of us. So do more cat. Draw the front of your hip bones towards each other, sides of the ribs to the center. Collect yourself, gather yourself. You're at the threshold. This is an important moment, right? Gather your wits, gather your parts. And with that engagement, you can also open yourself up and continue down the road and decide which turn to make. So as you gather, take also your pubic bone back and lift your chest up to the sky and ground your hips down towards the earth as you elongate through the fingertips up towards the sky. With a slow exhalation, touch the ground and step back. Adho Mukha Svanasana, downward facing dog. Press the hands, slow breath. Inhale to plank. Press the hands down. Once again, exhale. Hips down, thighs down, chest forward and up. Point your feet, spread your toes. So we start with the serpent. We invoke the ability to shift our vision, to adopt multiple perspectives. Broaden through your collarbones and draw the heads of your arm bones back so the heads of the arm bones move into their sockets. Your chest lifts up, but see how that's a lot of cow? So get a little bit of cat in there, a little bit of dog in there too. So draw the sides of the ribs towards the center. And then if it feels okay, lift your thighs up off the floor, upward facing dog. And exhale, tuck your toes. Downward facing dog, Adho Mukha Svanasana, slow breath. And since I'm releasing this video during Scorpio season, inhale the right leg up, a season steeped in death archetypally. Bend the knee, the season of decay when the world moves toward darkness. Send your chest forward, draw the sides of your throat back and press your head back a little bit and take your foot toward your head, scorpion dog. Just a little bit of a death and gateway of underworld action. And then stretch your leg back and place the foot back down on the ground. Bring your knees down to the floor. Keep the toes tucked under, sit back on your heels. Inhale, stretch, inhale, lift your fingers and stretch your arms up. Exhale and release your arms. I know this can be intense on the toes. You got this. Inhale, lift your fingers behind your back and stretch your arms back behind you. Slow breath in. Broaden through your collarbones. Open up through the front of your chest and keep a little cat going on in your torso. So sides of the ribs towards the center. And then bring your hands back down to the floor. Big, slow inhale. And exhale back into downward facing dog. Left leg up, deep breath in, spread your toes. So instead of opening your hip, you're keeping the front of your hip bones, the ASISs, drawing towards each other. Send your chest forward, bend the knee, and reach your foot toward the head and the head toward the foot. Don't just throw your head back. Don't kill your neck, please. Draw the sides of your throat back, chest forward, foot toward the head, and a little cat in your cow action in your spines. Then stretch the leg back and bring your foot down. Knees down to the floor. And this time separate your knees. Bring your big toes to And stretch into child's pose. Forehead down, forearms down, slow breath. Come up high on your fingertips. Press the fingertips deeply into the earth and lift your elbows up and draw your shoulder blades toward one another. And you can, if this feels okay for you, you can move your shoulder blades around a little bit. Slow, deep breathing. Stretch your arms forward, your hands forward, plant the hands, and stretch back into Adho Mukha Svanasana, downward facing dog. One more time. Deep breath in. Root your heels towards the ground, and with an exhalation, walk your hands back towards your feet into Uttanasana. Fold deeply in. Interlace your fingers behind your back with the opposite index on top. So we did the other side, do this side. Stretch the arms over the head. If this is, should have said that in the previous one, but if this is too much for your shoulders, you can always grab a shirt or a scarf or strap, a belt, something to separate your hands from each other and hold on to so that you can open up your shoulders. But if your shoulders are open enough to interlace your fingers, do that. Fingertips back down to the floor. And then bend your knees. Bring yourself to lie on your back. Bring your knees into your chest. Move a little bit side to side on your spine. And take your knees to the right as you open the left arm and ground your left shoulder deeply into the earth. Slow, deep breaths. You're still with a tone in the back of the throat for a little bit more with Ujjayi breath as a way to link yourself to the breath, to yoke yourself to the breath. The way that dogs and humans have yoked themselves to one another. The way that a dog in its underworld guard role shows us the inseparable link between life and death. Knees back to center, deep breath, as they also show us other aspects of contradiction and contrast. Take your knees to the left, open the right arm to the right, and ground the right shoulder into the earth, because they are shaped by humans in a way. They are a human's best friend, but they are wild and untamed. They are animals. So they bridge the gap between domestication and feral. They are fierce and they are cuddly. They are protective. They are howling. But there are also these sweet, begging eyes when they need it. Bring your knees back to center, right? They're fierce hunters and fluffy snugglers. Hug yourself as you hug this complex network of inseparable threads that you are. So many things. Can you hug and embrace the entirety of you? And the dog, as much as it is in the center of our love, in the culture of our humanity, it's also been, by many religions, sent to exile on the outskirts of society, of town, begging in the underworld, stealing bones from the funeral pyres. Relax your body now into the earth, into Shavasana, into the corpse pose. So the arms and the legs rest, the spine relaxes. It's a short Shavasana. Just a few moments to allow your system to release. And if there's this part of you that wants to get up and turn this off because you think you're done, then the guard of the underworld, Cerberus, says no. Three-headed dog is threatening, howling at you and saying you need to also make sure there's enough time for you to rest. It's not going to be long, so just for a few moments, allow your body to soften. Allow the breath to soften. Allow things to unwind, so if there's something in you that needs to move and wiggle in order to relax it a little bit more deeply, listen to what your body is saying. And allow the softening be a way for you to deepen into your complexity. Into the way that you are much more than just one thing. Into who you are as a wide variety of qualities and archetypes and energies. Into yourself as a junction, a crossroads, a meeting place. And when you're ready, take a breath and stretch your arms over your head. Reach out through your legs. Bend your knees and roll to whichever side is calling you. I'm being called to roll to the left, which is the opposite of what tradition says. When you work with the symbol of the dog, when you work with a goddess like Hecate, you're invited to the edge, to the rebellion quality. Slowly bring yourself up to sit, to try things differently. Sit with the opposite leg than the one you usually sit for meditation. You can move your hips a little side to side, maybe circle your torso around a little bit, maybe wiggle it. And softly bring your hands together in front of your heart into Anjali Mudra, turning yourself into the heart's deepest offering. Anjali is an offering. And so your hands take the form of this powerful presence of being able to turn yourself into something that you place on the altar of your life, and that something is the capacity to be more than one thing, the ability to stand at the threshold and guard the gateway and have a deep conversation with yourself about what's going, what's staying, what's making a comeback, what needs to stay out, what you're weeding out, what you're placing on the compost pile of your life. Whether you are in this season of Scorpio and of death or a completely different time in the cycle of the earth. And softly bow to this great power to guard, to guide, to be guided, to be protected. Thank you so much for joining me. I hope this was meaningful and helpful in some way. If it was, share it with your people, put a like on this video, subscribe to this channel if you're not yet subscribed. Check out the essays that I told you about. Again, the links are going to be in the description of the video. There is a free ritual guide that I made for the secular sacred soul. If you're interested in that and want to turn this contemplation and others into a ritual that is personal to you, download that. I will leave a link for you in the description of the video. subscribe to my Substack. It is a beautiful, if I may say so myself, place where I pour a lot of muse medicine. Every Monday you will get a muse medicine and prompts to take your inspiration and your artistic nature into a deep conversation inside of you and in your life. I am so grateful for your presence, and I can't wait to see you again soon. Thank you so much. Namaste.